Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. This is Chika Dibia and you're most welcome. So guys, in this video I am going to teach you how to cut and sew this beautiful two-piece you're seeing on your screen. But before I proceed, I want to use this opportunity to thank all my subscribers, my viewers. Thank you for the likes, the shares, the comments. Thank you for always supporting your baby girl. And if you've not subscribed, please do well to subscribe, like, share and comment on my videos. Okay, so we are going to start with the pattern drafting level. From the pattern drafting level to the finishing level. So guys, grab your pen and paper and I will be right back. So the first thing we're going to do is to draw out the pattern, the shirt pattern on a pattern paper, and we are going to go in by 3 inches from the starting point. So we're going to go in by 3 inches and we're going to line it up like this. So from the other end, I'm going to come down by 1 inch and I will line it up. So what I just did here is the 3 inches allowance is going to be my button allowance, and the 1 inch allowance is going to be my shoulder point, which is also my starting point. So I'm going to divide my shoulder measurement by 2 and I'm going to mark it down, then come down by 1.5 inches, then go in for my neck width 2.5 inches, then I'll connect it with my ruler. And sorry, it wasn't recording as of this point and I have to start afresh. So that line I just marked is my armhole divide by 2. That is my armhole point, my armhole circumference divide by 2. Mine is 9. Then I marked on a straight line. That is why I marked it on a straight line, 9 inches. And it's also going to be my chest point. Then on that my chest point, I'm going to divide my bust measurement by 4. So what I got, I am going to mark it down right now. So once I'm done marking it down, I'm going to add 1.5 inch seam allowance and I'll mark a straight line on it. Then adjust the measurement very well. So once I'm done with that, the next thing I'm going to do right now is to make sure that my armhole circumference divided by 2 is 9 inches. Then I will divide it by 2. Then I'll go in by 3/4 inch and I'll connect like so. So this is going to be my front armhole line. Then for my back armhole line, I'm just going to mark it like this. So this is for my front and while this is for my back. So I'm cutting for both the front and the back. For my back neck depth, I'm going to come down by 1/2 inch and I'll connect it like this. And for my front neck depth, I'm going to come down by 3 inches. Then I'll connect it like so. So once I'm done with that, the next thing I'm going to do is to measure the length of the shirt. So the length of my shirt is going to be 30 inches. That's what I'm going to do right now. So I'll point it down right now, mark it down 30 inches, and I'll make sure they are on a straight line. I'm going to mark straight line. So it's 30 inches right now. I'll try and adjust my 3 inches seam button allowance down to the length of the shirt and I will mark a straight line on it. So once I'm done with that, the next thing I'm going to do is to mark my waist point. So I'm going to mark my waist point right now. My waist point is 18 inches here. I'm going to mark a straight line on them. So after I'm done with that, the next thing I'm going to do right now is to start indicating the points of the line I just marked. So the first line is my chest point, which is also my bust point, my waist point and my hip point, which is also my full length. Then I'm going to divide my waist point divide by 4 plus 1.5 inches. Remember we have done for the chest already, which is also our bust point. But for our hip, we are going to divide our hip measurement by 4 plus 1.5 inches. Then we are going to connect the lines. Remember we've added the seam allowance on it, so there is no need adding seam allowance while cutting on the material. So we are done with the front piece. The next thing we are going to do is to come up on the down part. We are going to come up by 1-2 inches to give it a curve. It's not necessary. If you like, you leave it straight, but if you want to give it a little design, you can come up by 2 inches, then give it a curve. Then I'm going to start cutting it out right now. I want to extend the point, the bottom point. So right now I am going to start cutting it out, and before I start cutting it out, I'm going to fold in the button allowance. I'm going to fold it in like this before cutting it out. So once I'm done cutting it out, the next thing I'm going to do is to place my front piece on the back piece on a separate pattern paper, and I'll place it like so. And once I'm done placing it, I am going to trace out the back piece. Remember, we cut the back and the front piece on one pattern paper, so I'm going to trace out the back right now. The back piece, I'm tracing it out right now. I'm tracing it on a different pattern paper, on a separate pattern paper. So once I'm done with that, the next thing I'm going to do is to cut out the front piece of my neck. So once I'm done cutting it out, I am going to go down by 1 inch on the neck shoulder line. Then I'll mark it on a straight line, then I'll cut it out. This will help. This is how to cut a shirt shoulder. So I'm going to fold it back up like this. I'm going to fold it back up like this, then I'll trace it with my marker. So we removed 1 inch on the front and added it back on the back piece. So I am going to cut out the back piece. That's the only thing we needed to do on the back piece. So here we are done cutting it out, and this is how it's going to look like on the front piece while after stitching them. So this is how it looks like. So once we are done with that, we're going to remove the back piece, and this is for the front piece. We're going to trace out all that we removed, the back piece armhole. That is it. So what is left now is the front piece, because we have traced out the back piece on the front piece. Then remember, while stitching the placket, we are going to fold it by 1 inch. So this is the shirt placket. We are going to fold it by 1 inch, remember, while sewing it. So I'm making sure that it's 1 inch. So once we are done with that, we are going to be cutting our sleeve right now, and this is the pattern for the sleeve. We are just going to be cutting just one side of the sleeve, and this is the starting point. I'm going to go down by 4 inches from the starting point. Then I'll make sure I divide my armhole circumference by 2, then added extra 2 inches seam allowance, you see. And I want to make sure that this place is on a straight line. Yeah, I'll cut it out right now. So I will trace my armhole circumference divided by 2 again, then my sleeve length 12 inches, and I'm still going to add extra 2 inches for the band, but I want to trace out the bodies first. The sleeve length is 12 inches, then I mark, then I will divide my sleeve curve by 2, then I'll connect it like this. So I'm going to be tracing it out right now. So this is for the sleeve. You just need to cut it out. So on the pant drafting, I came down by 4 inches for the pants. I folded by 2 and came down by 4 inches. Then I'll fold it. The 4 inches I marked is going to be my elastic allowance. it's going to have an elastic. Then from there I'm going to come down by 10 inches for my hip point, then 15 inches for my crotch point. Remember, there are two crotch measurements, the crotch point and the crotch circumference. So my crotch point is 15 inches. So I'm going to divide my waist point into 4, then add extra 5 inches for seam allowance because it's an elastic waist. So I'm going to divide my hip measurement by 4, then add extra 4 inches, 1.5 inches seam allowance. Then my crotch circumference divided by 2 is 15 inches. So once I'm done with that, the next thing I'm going to do is to mark 13 inches down to the full length, because I want it to be a very free pant. I want the pant to be very big. So I'm going to cut it out now. As I cut, I am going to be folding it up till I get to the full length. So once I'm done cutting it out, I'm going to use this front piece to cut out the back piece. Remember, this is a free pant. I don't need to be adding extra 2 inches or 1 inch on the back area. That is the back piece. So I'm going to use exactly what I got on the front to cut out for the back piece because it's a free pant. So once I'm done with that, the next thing I'm going to do is to cut out my sleeve band. And I'm done cutting it out. I cut out 4 inches, then I fold it by 2 inches. So this is how it looks like, and that is it for the sleeve. I'm going to be joining them. So once I'm done with that, the next thing I'm going to do is to cut out the bodies of the shirt, and this is what it looks like. So I'm going to fold in the plackets off camera because I've teach you how to fold it in with the pattern paper. Then I will iron it down. So this is the back piece and this is the front piece. In here I am done joining the shoulders and the plackets together, and as you can see how the plackets are overlapping each other. So I'm going to take a measurement on the neck of the shirt. So once I'm done taking it round, and whatever I got, I'm going to use it to cut out my collar. So I am trying to mark a starting point on the pattern paper. Then I will divide my 19 inches that I got on the plaque and on the neck measurement by 2. Then I'll come up by 1.2 inches. Then I'll do the same on the other side. Then I'll mark a straight line. So once I'm done cutting it, marking it down, the next thing I'm going to do is to divide my 9 inches divided by 2. Then I'll come up by 3/4 inch. Then I'll give it a curve. So once I'm done with that, I'm going to curve the other end. If you like, you leave it on a straight line, but it's better you give it a curve. That is the first layer of your placket. Then on the second layer, I am going to come up by 2.5 inches, then mark in a straight line. Then I'll go in by 1 inch. Then I'll mark it like so. So on the other end, I'm going to come down by 1 inch. Then I'll give it a curve. So it's going to allow your the back of your head to relax on your shirt. So the next thing I'm going to do is to cut it out, and I will also cut it out on the material. Once I'm done, I will use this pattern paper to cut it out directly on the material. So I'm going to be doing that like so. And here I am done cutting it out on the paper and the material, and I use the papers there on one side of the collar. So this is how it looks like. So I'll be joining the collars together, and here I am done joining the pants together. So I'm going to show you how I am going to join the remaining parts of the pants. I'm going to join this side, and I will fold in the elastic waist, I'll fold it in by 2 inches like so. After I'm done joining the sides, I'll first of all join the 2 sides, and once I'm done joining the 2 sides, I will join the laps, then fold in the elastic allowance by 2 inches, then I will add elastic on it, then hem the down part. So here I am done joining the trousers together, that is the pants, and this is how it looks like. I'm going to give it a hot pressing iron, and after pressing it down, I will go back to the shirt. So for the shirt, I'm going to add the sleeves, and this is how I'm going to join the sleeves. I'm going to be joining it as simple as this, and I'll join it down like this, and I will do the same on the other side. So here I am done joining it. I'm going to join it on the bodies of the shirt like this, and I'll do the same on the other side. So this is how it looks like after joining the sleeves together. This is how it looks like. So I'm going to join the collar now. So for the collar, I place it downwards like this, then make sure you notch the center of each side of the collar. Then I'm going to pin it down like so, then I'll stitch it up. So I'm going to stitch it up this way, as simple as that. So here I'm done joining it, and this is how it looks like. I'm cutting out the excesses. I'm going to fold it up like this, unfold it like this, then I'll give it a hot press. I'll press it down with my pressing iron. So once I'm done with that, I'm going to indicate the center of the collar like so, and once I'm done cutting out the center, I'm going to indicate also the center of the shirt, and I will join it together like this. I'm just going to join just one side of the collar, the one that has no peppers there. I'm going to join it at the back like this. It will be very easy for you to close it. So once I'm done joining, this is how it looks like. So I'm going to cover it up with the one that has peppers there like this. So I'm going to cover it up like this now, and we are done with the shirt. So here, this is how it looks like. I'm going to press it down with my pressing iron, then this is how it looks like after everything, and this is the end of the video. You're just going to be giving 4 inches allowance before you add the buttons. 4 inches allowance before you add another button. So thank you for watching. See you in my next video. Bye.